WeAreMovieClub.
Hey there, We Are Movie Club. This week is Not Another Teen Movie. Not Another Teen Movie. This is a review for week
51.
Hashtag WeAreMovieClub. This week's pick was mine. So the short sell of this one is, let's make fun of every teen romance ever. So my love it for this one is the cruel sister character, Catherine. Everything about her character is great. She's a great built, independent character. She's got smart lines. Obviously, she's established in that universe as somebody as well. She's hot, which never hurts anything. She's got some of the best jokes, even if they are like the rudest, crudest ever. And I'm not saying like I can't get behind a poop joke every now and again. It's just when you see it, like my hate it, that I can't get behind it. And so my hate it is definitely the poop scene. Let's be honest for a moment. The MVP for this one definitely is Chyler Leigh, the girl who played Janie Briggs. Oh my god, she deserves something for this besides just the paycheck. Where a lot of people will look at that character and go, you were in that? You played her? I would think that it take the effort to play that character would be a nominally good thing. I mean, that opening scene, come on. That takes a lot to get that just right. And I don't care if you think it's a stupid thing or it's something that belongs in the porn industry or whatever, to fake getting off like that, especially with that scenario of people and things going around, and to get everything going along with that set amount of props. I mean, come on. But let's go into the categories.
Aesthetics.
I hate to admit it, but the aesthetics are a huge part of this movie. You have to be able to recognize tropes in other movies just on an instant glance of looking at the characters, because they don't necessarily go into depth, because the whole point of watching this movie is that you're already familiar and possibly sick to death of teen romance movies. So we need quick development, and that requires good aesthetics. So not only do we have good music and sound bites and dialogue pieces, especially quotes, which there are a plethora of, but we need notable characters like Molly Ringwald, who shows up more than anybody else. Then you have like the cheerleading uniforms, which immediately you're like, oh, it's from that thing where the thing, and they did the thing with the other thing. Yeah. The music that goes on really well. There's certain moments where the music swells a special way. The slow clap that's continually going through there. The poop scene, a lot of the audio effects that are going on there make the subtle difference in the movie. There's so much good going on there, especially for like the Breakfast Club scene. I can go on and on, because they made so many good references without making the references, and that is what makes this movie a par above other parodies, at least. Aesthetics gets a 91.
Character development.
Now I gotta be a little bit more fair. They did do a decent amount of character development here for the story that they presented. But, being that the story is a parody of all these other movies, and the characters are all parodies of all these other characters, they didn't have to do a lot of work. They put it good in the aesthetics, and then they kind of laid off on the character development to let you enjoy the movie more. So while the movie still is enjoyable, they didn't put a lot of work in, they didn't get a lot of quality, but they did do a decent job with it so that you can fill in the gaps on your own and kind of just make fun of it where they left openings. Character development gets an 85.
Storyline.
And maybe I'm not being as fair, but this story is mainly based off Tammy and the Shrew and She's All That, if She's All That isn't in fact part of a spinoff of Tammy and the Shrew itself. So there's not much story going on here. It's the same story from She's All That mixed in with all these other movies. And while I really like the story from She's All That, there's nothing truly original that they brought in. They do some very good execution points, but not really enough to countermine the fact that like we're not really doing much. There's not the good, I almost want to say, mechanics put in like She's All That had, because we're using all those slots to fill for parody slots. So while the parodies do somewhat serve those functions. They don't do it in their entirety, and I've got to say that, hey, it was a little disappointing when I was focusing on this movie for this aspect. Storyline gets a 60.
Compulsion.
But honestly, if you're watching Not Another Teen movie for the storyline, you got the wrong movie. This isn't a movie for the storyline. This is a movie about humor and funny characters and just making people laugh and have a good time, which it does. At any point throughout any of this, whether you like romantic comedy teen movies or you don't like them, there is something for you here. Either opportunities throughout the entire movie to make fun of it, references to movies that you like, be like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then if you are smart enough, you can look at it more objectively and go like, well, what's the funniest way for these two cheerleading squads to actually interact and still reference the movie? Well, I guess you're gonna go there, and it's still kind of funny, even if I didn't really like it. So I gotta give credit where credit's due, I guess. Compulsion gets a 92. I've totaled it up, you get an average of 82. Don't let that score fool you. This is still a pretty good movie, and I'd recommend it to almost anybody. Of course, take parent consent and all that into effect, because we are talking about a teen movie, and sometimes there's issues with that. This movie is going to challenge those issues, I guarantee it, but it is so funny, so if you can watch it, do so. For my rep review, I'm going to say this is one of the few parody movies I can actually watch in its entirety and still enjoy, minus like a couple scenes. I'd recommend it pretty much to whoever. I'd say watch it and enjoy, but make sure that you're watching all these other movies it's referencing, otherwise, hey, maybe I need to make a list. Regardless, this was a review for #WeAreMovieClub. This week's pick was mine. Next week's pick is Charlie. And time for an old-timey voiceover.
Next week on We Are Movie Club, it is the 2011 film I Am Number 4.
So be sure to check us out next week for that, and I'm sure it'll be good. Charlie's find some decent movies out there for us to pick, and play with, and words that actually matter. Have a nice day. I am Cameron.
Be sure to go check out all the fine folks that are involved in this video. Thanks for watching.